I'm not even going to try to look anything for the cameras.
Okay. Don't look like anything for the camera.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please do not perceive me.
Huh? What?
I have a meat popsicle.
Huh?
Huh?
What?
What?
Who?
Where?
Why?
We could pick a Slim Shady.
When?
What?
Huh?
I don't know.
What?
To what extent? And how is everybody out there?
Oh, hey, Internet.
Hello, the internet.
I keep forgetting Ted Lasso came back.
It did, and I've watched everything but today's episode.
So it is a weekly. How many have there been so far?
I think maybe only 2. Because
okay.
now it's getting confusing because shrinking is also happening. So, but I think that just ended, so that's confusing. Yeah. The creators are the only really common thread there.
Okay.
Not anyone on camera.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, Brett Goldstein is responsible for both.
So I've almost emptied my storage unit.
Congratulations.
That will net me a cool $291 a month back.
Nice.
Storage units are not cheap,
No.
especially the size that one was.
I was looking at trying to find a storage unit because I wanted like a workshop space.
Mm-hmm.
You know, something small but like garage sized because I don't have a garage.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
Even the outdoor ones, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Like what were you looking at? Like 100 minimum?
They were more than 100 minimum
Holy shit.
for the small, even outdoors ones. Forget any of the climate controlled ones.
Oh God, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, we used to have it was like a 6x6 or something, or 5x5, I think it was. It was tiny, and that was like $60 a month.
Yeah.
And then I had to upgrade.
Where was that one?
Ones.
That one must not have been anywhere.
Same building.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's pretty cheap.
Over by the library, off Deerwood.
Oh okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most of the stuff around me is not cheap for some reason. Or you don't get power, which I would need.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this one, yeah, I guess it doesn't have power, now that I think about it.
I mean, they probably do that on purpose so that you don't,
Live out of there?
live out of there, yeah.
Yeah.
They probably kind of try to discourage that.
They saw that episode of Atlanta and were like, shit.
Also, I think one of the things that I wanted was 24-hour access, and the ones that have those are more expensive.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you how when we were moving, like the night we were moving, we went past 10 o'clock and the doors wouldn't let us back in. And we had like cartloads of stuff sitting outside the door. So I actually had to call the corporate office and have them remotely unlock it for me.
Wow.
As like a one-time thing. Because I was like, my wife is having a fucking nervous breakdown. I need you to unlock this door somehow. And they did. But they're like, okay, here's the deal. You have to have someone inside to keep triggering it to open. So if you both go outside, I can't open it again for you. Understand this.
Right.
So I was like, okay. So yeah, one of us had to stay in the hallway and wave to the door to open it.
Mm-hmm.
So of course I ended up loading everything that went in there. It was a fucking nightmare. Then we had to drive back here the next day to get the rest of it.
Hooray.
That was still in the house, even though we technically did not own the house anymore. Yeah, it was bad.
Moving is terrible. Don't do it.
No, stay where you are.
Yeah.
I mean, stand in the place where you are.
Yeah.
No,
Now that I'm
face
where I
north.
am, I don't want to go anywhere for a very long time. Now I'm
You
just
said that last time.
keep pouring money into this house. It took me 8 years.
You did that last time.
It took me 8 years, and I made a shit ton of money off that house. So the money I poured into it was an investment that paid off.
I'm just saying.
This house
That you-
is an investment in my mental health.
Fair enough.
Like
I am just
like getting speakers installed in the ceiling and
That's
that sort of shit.
What in the hell is going on behind me in IMDb?
ghosts.
No, I'm on the
Spooky
Runaway
ghosts.
page, and I'm seeing like Kathy Griffith and
There's like some
Griffin
Hulu
show up.
shit in the background.
Yeah, like what the fuck is going on? Griffin, I guess she's been Griffith. I don't know. Whatever. Just people that shouldn't be showing up on videos. When
Hey,
I'm looking
Kyle.
at the Runaway.
I just
page.
realized Kyle's here. I just
Oh,
joined,
shit, yeah,
I just
chat.
joined the live chat.
Man,
And
I
Curtis.
gotta remember
Hello.
to open that up sooner.
Hello, Kyle. Hello, Curtis.
I'm being bad. I used to
How's
have
Tricks?
the chat there ready to go.
And I consulted with Chuck, and it was a glitch in our viewing.
Oh, okay.
It was a very well-timed, weird glitch, but it was a glitch.
Yeah, I just thought maybe it was some bizarre artistic choice when that was happening. I was like,
Michael Crichton ain't about that.
True.
You don't go to the Crite for that one.
No.
Old Critchy.
I don't know enough Michael Crichton movies to make good jokes, really. I mean, I got Timeline. I've got Andromeda Strain. Jurassic Park. Westworld. Future World, I guess. By extension, maybe.
I feel like he was not involved in.
I don't know. Who knows?
This shit won't stop emailing me. My watch is like, hey, shit be happening.
Oh, Congo? Was that Michael Crichton, too?
Yes.
Hey, I remember that movie. That was wonderful.
Bruce Campbell was in that.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly do not remember a single thing about that movie. I saw it in the theater, and
You're best off.
it has stayed there. I don't think it even left the theater. It just all those chemicals in your brain that make that happen, they just stayed in the theater.
That's about right.
Yeah.
That was actually one of those, like, I had read the book before going to see the movie, and the movie still somehow managed to make no sense to me.
Those are the best ones.
Yeah.
I feel like we just don't get adaptations like that anymore. Now if we get a book adaptation, it's like a 10-part miniseries or something. And they actually cover everything they should be covering. Unless it was the last really bad book adaptation we had was Dark Tower, I would think. And even then, that wasn't one. It felt like one of those 90s ones where this is a 10-book series. We're just going to take the best parts of all 10 and put them in one movie.
I did finally actually watch that. You're talking about the one with Idris Elba, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the only good part of it.
Yeah, I don't. That was such a bizarre thing. Because the whole thing played off in a tone akin to. I hate to well, no, I don't actually hate to always pick on this guy because fuck this guy. But I mean, akin to Paul W.S. Anderson vibes of him loading his gun and stuff. And it's why did anyone think that we need to Eon Flux Resident Evil this shit? I don't get it. That's not the vibe anyone coming to the theater after 35 fucking years of Dark Tower books expecting a cinematic experience of
What? What do you mean by?
I just mean that fast, doing dub things where it was just too exaggerated, where the film goes, swoopy things. I you know what I'm talking about? I mean, if you've seen a Resident Evil movie, everything swoops. They cock a gun, it's the camera moves and just every little action is too hyper focused, 2000 esque. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying the whole movie is that, but it's just really accentuating. I remember doing that with almost everything Roland did. It was it's okay, I get yes. Badass, sure, but maybe not in this vibe. I just thought Roland was always cool because he was just cool. Nothing rattled him, and
right.
Yeah. Not that he was some otherworldly, genetic experiment type thing, robotic thing. I don't know. I didn't read to the end, so I don't know what the fuck he decided to go where with that whole series, but I'm sure it went fucking bizarre and dumb places.
Strangely enough, that movie did make me want to read the books, but then I was reading sucks, and so I didn't.
The first book is very short.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I usually like King's rewrites, but I would say if you can find a version of the original, I would say read that because I think it's slightly better because it's rougher. And because I'm becoming more of an early King fan, where a lot of his stuff was a lot rougher.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely.
I didn't know he was prone to rewriting his shit.
He did. I wouldn't say rewrites, just they're like director's cuts almost, right? So he went back and touched up a few things in Gunslinger, and I'm pretty sure in Wastelands and Drawing of the Three as well. He also added another 1,000 pages to The Stand.
Oh, good. That's what that needed.
He really needed another grand worth of reading.
Yeah. I do.
He was
like
like, man, fuck them rainforests. I got paper. I got paper to print on.
He was still trying to pay for cocaine, so why not re-release another book? But I do prefer the expanded edition of The Stand.
Mm.
And I think there's an edition of Wizard and Glass that has some more writing to it. But I like King's rougher work in the beginning.
I'm going to tell you something that's probably not going to surprise you, but it might.
You've never read a book?
I've never read a Stephen King book.
Oh, okay.
Trying to think where I would start somebody if I was like...
Never read any of them.
The Shining is really good. So it's The Dead Zone. I think that'd be a good place to start. The Dead Zone's pretty quick,
Dead
too.
Zone.
Yeah. Have you seen the movie The Dead Zone?
I have not. I'm trying to think of the Stephen King movies I've seen. Like, I've seen It Part 1. And I was like, yeah, I'm good. I've seen It, the miniseries.
You didn't like it part 1?
It's all right, but I'm just like, the main kid, I'm like, he's working for Pennywise, right? Because he's just intent on getting his friends killed. Like, he's obsessed with getting his, like, he's like, you know, we could just, like, not do this, or we could go there and get murdered by this clown thing. And then...
Bill? Is Bill his name?
Yeah.
Bill's here. Yeah. I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just have to read you this letterbox
believe
review
that's
of
his name.
Runaway, by the way. It says, judging from this and the earlier Westworld, I'm pretty sure a robot must have fucked Michael Crichton's wife at some point.
Wouldn't surprise me.
He's got a thing against robots. He's
That old-
anti-robot.
That old Mikey Crike.
He's an anti-robot.
Well, now this is a crazy thing. I've seen Runaway many years ago, but long enough to I don't remember anything about it. But now seeing it now, I realized how directly they stole the little spider bot design that they use in the in Cyberpunk. There's a part where you basically sort of sub-control one of these things that looks almost just like one of these. I mean, it's basically just a box with spider legs, and
I mean, box with spider legs is pretty common. So.
Yeah.
You got spider.
But I mean,
legs,
it also
Lieutenant Dan.
sort of face fucks people, sort of like these did. You know.
Gotcha.
Yeah, man. Fuck your face.
Yeah. I mean, it's interfacing with a netrunner if you want to get a little bit more technical. But
Fuck it.
Kyle, I don't remember what the Dark Half is about.
the Dark Half's is weird, like almost like self-autobiography, where it's about the writer who has the character that comes to life after he buried him.
Oh, I've seen Misery.
Okay, Misery's a good enough book to read. It's pretty
Misery's a good book.
good. Yeah.
I just read that like 2 months
I
ago.
mean,
It's a good book.
that's a good like self-contained book. It's a lot darker than the movie, but
It's pretty dark.
The movie's pretty fucking dark.
It's
And I'll
darker.
say, if you like, everybody thinks of Stephen King as like Mr. Paranormal Horror. His best books are not that paranormal and not that horror.
Yeah, they're
Although-
grounded horror.
Yeah. Although I will say that like Misery is in some ways terrifying. It's not what I think of when I read it. It didn't read as horror to me. Like there's a lot of bad shit happening and it's very suspenseful, but it's more of a suspense. sort
I
of
think
thing.
just based on when I grew up, I think maybe the first one I ever read was Pet Sematary, but
Nice.
I don't know. But
I think I've seen Pet Sematary. I don't recall now.
I mean, Pet Sematary, the book, in hindsight, is it's overly verbose in parts. Okay,
Stephen King.
Right, I know, but like, like almost to nth degrees in that one, because I mean, like, especially when you see the movie, and it's just like, what in the script is probably like he walks to this pet cemetery for the third time. In the book, it's like, now I will describe every twig he steps on the way to the pet cemetery, and
Overly descriptive.
yeah, I mean, there's a long. I believe that's the book that has the wife jacks him off with a sponge or something. Like, I feel like there's a weird part with that. It's like, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't sound pleasant.
I don't think I've read
It doesn't sound
I don't
pleasant.
think I've read Pet Sematary.
I don't know.
I hope it's the non-scrubby side.
I'm just saying, like, I've not met sponges that would be pleasant, in my lifetime.
No, sponges are strangely not soft.
Yeah.
Natural sponges sometimes are soft, but not that soft.
I think that's the one
not
where
jerk me off with it
Yeah.
soft.
Yeah.
I just remember like I think I remember
not
like
prefer a hand.
going into the movie and thinking
Not
I was
$60
wondering
headphone.
I was wondering if
soft.
Tasha Yar was gonna scrub off her husband.
Cycle of the Werewolf is really good. I haven't read that one in a while, but I remember enjoying
Never heard
it.
of that one. Cycle of the Werewolf?
There's also
Does that involve biking?
biking. No, haha. Also, Through the Eyes of the Dragon, which is a
That's a-
fantasy.
Yeah, I mean that one's
It's as close as you get to fantasy, I think. In
well,
Stephen
sure,
King.
yeah. I mean it's wizards and shit. I mean it's I think that I don't know. My opinion on that is like unless you're chasing the Falstaff or whatever thing, like
Oh yeah,
just don't bother. I don't know. That's my opinion.
I liked it. I liked
Sure,
the book.
okay.
So
I think it was just one of those. Maybe my brain at the time rejected it because I was reading like proper fantasy, and that just felt like ugh, like I don't know, just like Chris Gaines. It's like get in your fucking lane, like yeah.
Quit pretending
Sorry,
to be something
sorry.
you're not.
Chris Gaines was Garth Brooks' alter ego when he decided to go alternative rock. I'm just explaining for the younger folks.
No, let him look
and
it
also, Garth Brooks was a country star.
Let him
God
look,
damn it.
Let him look it up.
Yeah.
Garth, not too long ago, Garth Brooks sold out 6 consecutive dates
Okay, all right, fine. Then people
In-
know who Garth Brooks is.
in
He does
Jacksonville,
have friends
Florida.
in low places.
Yes.
Oh well, okay, but that makes sense in Florida.
He's all right.
I too like his short stories and collections, Kyle. In fact, some of my favorite ones, and one of the scariest things that I can remember reading in my entire life, The Library Policeman, is in a short story collection of King's. That one just creeped me the fuck
I
out.
think
And
this-
the Sundog.
I think I concur with Misery is a good one to start with. I think that's a good starter because it's not like it's twisted enough, but not like some of his other shit, and
Yeah.
it's just and it's
Do either of
concise.
you own it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a paper.
I will-
I don't have paper books.
I will bring you a copy of Misery and The Dead Zone.
I'll just bring you Misery.
Right. just by-
Guaranteed.
Thank you.
Yeah. Possibly in audio form.
Already happening. Don't worry
Yeah.
about that.
I'm your number one fan, Mackie.
I'm reading Dolores Claiborne right now. That's an interesting one. 'Cause it's basically one person talking for the entire time.
You're just naming ones that Kathy Bates played the titular character. All right. I guess Misery's not her name, but just what she is.
Yeah.
I don't think her name was like Alice Misery.
It was something close to Alice, though.
I think Alice feels like Alice was like the '80s Karen. It was a fun name to like make possibly like an irrational or
Annie.
victimized person. Yeah, Annie.
Annie is not okay. I guarantee you that. All right, let's do a podcast.
Okay.
Is it 8:30?
It's 8:38.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's do it.
Bum, 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 bum. All right, and welcome to the BMFcast.
Hey,
Hey, BMFcast.
Episode 574.
Ooh.
Numbers keep going up.
I like 'em.
So I'm Harlow,
I'm Mackie.
I'm BJ.
and what we do each and every episode of this here BMFcast is we watch ourselves a quote-unquote movie. Quote-unquote movie? Quote-unquote bad movie. Yeah, sometimes they're quote-unquote
Sometimes they're
movies.
considered
Yeah.
movies. Sometimes they're not.
Sometimes we question whether it's really a movie. Not in this case so much. Then we come in here and talk about them. And then they get ratings. Good bad movies, enjoyable bad movies. They get 1 to 5 jocks and robot jocks.
Robot Jocks.
However, there are bad movies. As in stay away, they get a negative sliding scale, 1 to 5 bags. This isn't giant bags of trash.
Boo.
Yeah.
Don't like them.
I'm going to go on record that this week's movie is in fact a movie.
I
saying,
agree.
Like it is filmed, you can see it. It's mostly comprehensible, and you can hear it. You can understand the dialogue and stuff. So those are all the qualifications I say in making a
Yeah.
movie.
It does meet the qualifications for an movie.
And as we've seen with a lot of 80s movies
Mm-hmm.
that we cover, their datedness is why they're considered bad,
Sure.
but they're not necessarily bad otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, I would lump this movie. We should go and spoil it. It's 1984's Runaway, which
Starring
most
Tom Selleck.
yeah most people know as
And
the
Gene Simmons.
Tom Selleck versus Metal Spiders movie. If you've ever
Yep.
seen it, that's how most people would describe it and have since it came out on video.
Yep.
But yeah, I think the thing about this one is it's like this is more of kind of a forgotten-ish movie than even like what I would lump into bad. Like, I mean, Michael Crichton movies that aren't Jurassic Park and Westworld, thanks to an HBO reboot, really, are otherwise mostly kind of forgotten through time because they're usually sort of hot-button science issues of the time, and so it doesn't really translate to long-term things. I mean, like, the idea of Jurassic Park was one of his better, like, that'll work forever, because until we actually bring back dinosaurs and nothing happens except for maybe we eat a meatball, which, spoiler, might have happened.
No, they wouldn't eat it.
Oh, they wouldn't eat it?
No,
well,
they said it may be poisonous to modern bodies.
I'm just saying the closest
so
we've come...
made inedible meat.
Yes, and closest we've come to, Jurassic
Congratulations,
Park is we
science.
maybe made a mammoth meatball.
Yes.
And I don't just mean in size, but of the meat.
Yep.
But yeah, I was saying that's the closest we come until we, like, one day clone a dinosaur and we just go like, oh, well, nothing to be worried about. We can actually just program out their aggression and they can just sit in a zoo like any other mopey zoo lion.
Yeah, because that always goes well.
Again, once we get to there, and we either see he was right or it was a bunch of hooey, like the robot. I mean, we all have Roombas and they haven't killed us yet.
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 They haven't killed all of us yet.
I'm saying, like, a lot of his stuff doesn't necessarily translate to longevity because it's like, oh, well, what about this new thing?
Well, because it'll have like a keyword that at the time was like, ooh, that sounds sciencey. But now we hear it, we're like, oh, modem, okay, okay, an 8088 motherboard, okay,
right, yeah.
But anyway, yes, it still qualifies.
Yeah, this still qualifies possibly as a bad movie, I suppose, perhaps. But it's really just, like I said, I think it's more of like it's a time capsule and mostly kind of forgotten movie, so that people can come along and go, what is that? That's Magnum PI chasing robots. But I think there's a lot of things that are, like, interesting and prescient about this movie in terms of, like, you can look to, like, 2001 and things where it's like, hey, look, that's basically an iPad in a fucking 1968 movie. Like, think about that. But similarly here, Runaway is very similar to Blade Runner, except instead of fancy androids, they just chase down robots that have gone a little haywire.
These are all working robots.
Yeah, they're not AI-based robots. They're task-based robots.
Right,
yeah.
which is the right way to do robots, by the way.
Yes.
And none of them are humanoid.
No.
Correct. That is
They're
the
like,
other
well,
right
actually,
way.
no,
Chunky
there's the
boxes of bullshit.
They had the pedicab, the police car driver
the
guy was
Johnny
humanoid.
Cab
Yeah,
guy.
Johnny Cab. That's what I was trying to
I
think
will
of.
say they didn't. They had a mannequin, but then there were just robot components.
Maybe that was just to make you feel better, like that there's just not an empty seat where there should be a driver. But yes, otherwise they are mostly what you would expect when you think BattleBots or any of those, like, basic, not really meant for, like, anything but industrial robots. They're just a bunch of Wallies and things that look like Wally. So, but yes,
I love how banal it is.
Yeah.
It's just like they're not even traffic cops. They're just like malfunctioning robot cops.
Yeah, honestly, that's the weirdest part to me. That they would have cops that just respond to, my robot's gone a little nutty. And the cops just go shut the robot off. That's their job, is to just go shut the robot off.
Yeah.
They don't really, until this shit happens, they don't really have anything else exciting going on.
It sounds like
in
he's
their life.
on it because it's basically a desk job that lets him go outside of the office.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Also, our main character has vertigo, and that's another reason he says he doesn't want to do police work, is because he might have to go up in high places, and that's bad for him.
Well, yeah, it came from, of course, a failed situation at some point in his past where someone was killed because he was unable to act, and now it is.
Yeah, he couldn't chase
exacerbated
he couldn't
the
chase
whole
a perp
situation.
up a high building, and the perp got away and murdered some people later.
Yeah.
And he feels guilty. I mean, he didn't, like, pull a gun on a kid like most cop movie tropes, Die Hard, Lethal Weapons, and all that.
I know it's Michael Crichton, so it's like, okay, that's how the movie got pitched. But it's just like, could you imagine pitching this to someone being like, yeah, he's kind of just like a cleanup cop for robots, but not like cool badass robots, like construction robots that are dumping concrete bags in the wrong
it's pretty
place.
easy to pitch. I mean,
you don't pitch it like that.
Yeah, you say, like, he's, you start with showing him that he's just the guy that shuts down robots, and then the third case is, hey, a robot has actually murdered somebody. That's a special code, and everybody goes, ooh, and that never happens, and thus begins the actual plot, which turns out that wouldn't have even happened if the nefarious people weren't doing nefarious things. It probably wouldn't have happened just by a glitch. Let's say this was like intentional.
Right.
Sabotage with the intent of murdering. So
Yeah. So we're introduced to Tom Selleck's character, who's just getting a new partner. His name's Ramsey, by the way. Get used to that because they say it a lot in this movie. But he's introduced to his new partner, Thompson, who's played by Cynthia Rhodes, who has kind of like that. It's almost a little bit of like a Linda Blair in Roller Boogie, like that super cute look.
Cherubish? Is that how you would say it?
Cherubish.
Cherubish, yeah.
Cherubic.
I think I've
Really.
heard people say that. They
Sure.
probably said it wrong. So
Probably.
yeah.
But either way,
like
that's
a cherub.
That's his new partner, and this is kind of how we get all the exposition about it. Is they have to go up and they have to go track down a robot that's gone rogue, and the way they show that this robot has gone rogue is these robots are designed to just pick up caterpillars on crops and dump them in a little grinder wheel that they have. But this one just decided to start mowing down the crops, and so that's just their job, is to fly out there in a helicopter, see what the robot's doing, and then shut it down.
It's very comical. I mean, they literally show. I mean, this thing is carving crop circles in the corn, and they end up by diving on it with a comedic explosion and come back with like Yosemite Sam face after the bomb is blown up in his face. And they're just like, and all the
soot face.
Yeah, the cord shuckers or whatever they are. I don't know. Are just sitting there like, ha, here's your broken robot. Bye. Yeah. And then the next one.
What do those guys do anyway?
Um,
If the robot is doing all the shucking.
Well, I don't know. We just saw them de-pestifying. Maybe the people are still shucking. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of explained that it's a world where we're moving to full autonomy via robots, but I guess it's probably sort of like electric cars now. Not everybody's
Well,
on board.
they probably have a robot harvester, and this is just the corn is growing.
Yeah, these could just be the people that own the land for all we
Yeah.
know, and they just get to sit around and
Now-
let robots do stuff.
Let's keep in mind, this is basically the year 1984, just with robots.
Okay.
I feel like almost everything else is the same.
I mean, they never date it by putting it, I don't even think it even bothers with it in the near future.
Somebody in the trivia figured out by his birth date and age that's given that it takes place in the distant future of 1991.
Ooh. But see, 3POs were still on the shelf as an option in 1991 in this universe because...
They were very stale at that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they're on the shelf in this movie.
Yeah, but
That's another robot reference.
either way, it is very much a dated 1984 movie, and it's not like they try and jazz up the future or anything. I mean, the car they drive around is a 1984 beater. I mean, it's just
It's a Dodge Colt.
it looks like a piece of shit.
I love them.
Yeah, I love it.
I love
it for
have.
that.
I love that they have 15 perfect condition Dodge Colts and various Dodge vans for the police department. I just fucking love them.
Yeah, it's all great.
You don't see them unless they're absolutely fucking ragged out these days.
Yeah.
So that's why I like them.
I mean, same could be said for us.
Yes, correct. YouTube.com/BMFcast.
Oh man, but yeah. So they comedically take out this robot, and then they get back to the station, and I guess they're just. Does he get chewed out by the chief at this point?
Probably.
Or,
I mean, everything.
Or no, they're trying to check out something with the robot.
I don't think the real plot is really kicked in yet. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, either way, they get back,
yeah.
and then they get called right back out to another situation where this one of the housekeeper robots has murdered two people.
Well, first they go for the cement dumping one because that's what I'm saying. They have like two banal robot cases. This one just basically lets her go up to the top of this construction site and there's just it's supposed to just be a robot that picks up bags of cement and stacks them, but it's decided it's gotten out of whack and it's just dumping them off the side of the building to, which people are getting way too close to that. I mean, even as like an actor, I was like, Tom Selleck, like you don't need to sell this hard. Like get away from the falling debris.
Selling's in his name.
I guess
That's
so.
the thing too with him. Like he's committed this entire movie.
Sure.
Like there's never a point where he's like winking at the camera or being sarcastic about it. It's just like he's in on this character in this world.
Isn't he like that all the time? He's just always being whatever the director wants him to be. Like that shouldn't be like shouldn't be a surprising thing for an actor, but like he's been doing this shit for 50 years and he's still.
Yeah, I guess I just feel like it. There are actors who would be like, I'm above this bullshit. You know, and it would come through in their performance, and you
Yeah.
never get that from him.
Yeah, right.
Which you know, it sells the world building of this movie a ton.
Well, I don't know if I would call those people bad actors. I mean, I probably would, because I feel like that's contrary to what your job is to
Yeah.
perform their best for whatever thing you're doing. But I would say if you think something is above you, maybe stay with that and don't take the fucking money and do it.
Right.
So,
right.
you know,
Yeah,
I mean,
I mean-
you're either a bad actor or a bad person. So regardless,
Yeah,
don't,
but I
don't
mean,
do the
but
project.
by like 1984, like Magnum PI is one of the biggest shows on TV. So,
Sure.
but I guess it is also a different landscape where like TV and movies are two very separate things.
This could have
back
been. I
then.
mean, honestly, this could have very easily been sold to him of like, look what Blade Runner did for Harrison Ford. Like it turned him like he could have just Harrison Ford very easily could have gotten typecast into like, you're Han Solo. You know, I don't even know if like Indiana Jones was immediately a huge hit to like until the sequels
Yeah,
where
it
it
was
was.
pretty
I mean, it was big, but I don't know if
Yeah.
it was like you're going to be this guy forever, or there's ever going to be another one
Mhm.
of these. It wasn't like, I think, you know, but Blade Runner was like serious thing. Like you could do that, and it was probably like, this could be your transition to film and come be in this version of our Blade Runner. Yeah, so,
Yeah, maybe.
but who knows?
But either way, like I think Tom Selleck does a great job throughout this movie.
Sure.
Because there's a lot of goofy shit happening around him, and he never acts like it's goofy shit happening around him.
I don't have any ill will to Tom Selleck as far as I don't know. I don't know anything about him, and hopefully he's not a shitheel. So I'm not going to heap too much praise on him, because every time I do somebody, it's like they tend to be awful.
I'm sure listeners' dads like him on Blue Blood.
My mom fucking loved Tom Selleck.
What's his?
She would have left my dad at any given moment for Tom Selleck.
What's his character he did after Magnum PI that there's a billion movies of? Like Mickey Hammer or something, or Mike Hammer? No. it's
Yeah,
not that.
I know who you're talking about.
Jesse Stone.
There you go. That's
Yeah,
it. Jesse
there
Stone.
it
That's
is.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, mom
All those
loved Jesse
TV
Stone.
movies?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, they get called out to she handles the robot that's dumping stuff off the building because as the person from the construction company says, insurance won't let us touch these things. We have to call you.
I mean,
Because there is a point where he's just like, why don't you just shut it off yourself? And she says, we're not allowed to. It's an insurance
I
thing.
do wonder if at some point, I mean, I'm sure, because I think as we said during the course of the movie, police historically have been the people that could call for all kinds of shit that is not really their business.
Yeah.
But I wonder if at some point, like, cops were dog catchers and stuff too. And then they were like, all right, we've had enough strays and shit that we have to form this as its own thing. I'm wondering if like this is supposed to be like early enough that eventually there's just going to be, you know, the robot mop up crew doesn't have anything to do with the police department really.
The
It
RoboCops.
wouldn't surprise me because the other cops seem to like have kind of like this, who are those guys?
Yeah, oh,
thing.
it's the fucking dog catchers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
but
just wondering
there are little touches throughout the construction scene that I love. Like there's one sign on the back that says danger. I believe it says robots without human sensors
Yes.
or something like that. You know, and there's just little things. There's one that we love that we find out later, way later on the elevator. But there's a lot of like good little world building touches like that. That just like the production design. Somebody was like, "How about if we did this?" And they're like, "Yes, get that on the sign."
They in the trivia again. This is IMDb trivia, so unreliable and also maybe
Terrible.
not even real. But they were talking about how insistent Crichton was on the details on this movie, and credit to him if it was actually him, but also credit to the production designers because shit like that is everywhere, absolutely everywhere throughout this movie. You'll find little designations, little signs, even on the robots themselves. They feel surprisingly real.
Yeah, and a lot of the robots they're varied in what they look like.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
not like they got like, okay, we made like 2 robots and we'll just like put a lid on top of this one and it's a new robot. You know, they're like, no, these are like completely different designs for all of them.
Honestly, of all the robot designs, I think the one that looks the worst and the one that you would think that they would have built the best hero one for is Lois. Like Lois is the thing you look at and you're like, how does that do anything? Like I mean, like because you never see its arm articulated.
Yeah,
or
Lois
anything.
is his house
Yeah,
robot.
we should explain that. Like it's shown that despite him being, you know, you would think he'd be someone that's like, I'm not gonna have a damn robot in my house, especially with my kid. But he's got his wife died in a car accident, so he's got a nanny bot for his 10-year-old kid who cooks and takes phone calls and things that robots do in the future. But I don't know, this thing just looks like It's not.
It's
great.
a mini fridge
Yeah.
with an arm on it
yeah,
and some
just
flashing
way
lights.
too many Darth Vader lights in the front that do nothing. Yeah, so
I mean, it looks neat,
yeah,
but
I mean,
it doesn't look
I
like
just-
a domestic robot.
Yeah, it just when it rolled out, I was like, the first thing I thought is like it reminded me of the shitty Rocky 3 robot or 4 robot.
Yeah,
You know,
Rocky,
they're
Rocky
like,
4.
Yeah, but like, hey, Polly, you know, you want me to suck you off? And it's like, no, thanks, robot. That robot was a little
No,
too friendly
man,
with Polly, is all I'm saying.
I don't want any Starbucks today.
So yeah, just of the other ones, like they all look very industrial, like BattleBots design. This one looked like a ugly plastic
And
thing.
also talk about being like ahead of its time. I feel like there's robots everywhere, but people's lives haven't changed. They're all doing the same shit jobs. It's all the same crap. It's just like, okay, now you got a robot to cook you pasta.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it's still like you still got to go to work. You still got to be on the construction site.
Right.
You still got to farm. Like even though you've got all the robots, it's somehow life has not changed in any way.
Well, look at
Except
what's
now.
happened in
Tom
the-
Selleck has a job.
Yeah. Well, look what's happened in the last 30 years.
Yeah.
Our productivity has gone up like 9 million%, yet we're still fucking slaving away at regular jobs.
Yep.
Give me my Star Trek future, please, and thank you. I'll watch Star Trek if that's what it takes.
And just like we said earlier, we were able to generate cloned meat, but it's inedible. So who cares?
We don't know that. They won't try it.
They said it's inedible.
They're,
Possibly.
they're cowards.
I would eat it.
Eat
Look.
eat the mammoth meatball.
I guarantee you, there's at least I
Cowards.
am the one person on Earth. If that's how I go out by being the person that ate a fucking clone mammoth,
My man.
yeah, I mean,
know-
fucking like.
Okay.
Just take Teddy Roosevelt's fucking face off the goddamn mountain and put me there instead. Because all he did was walk around with a big fucking stick. I ate a goddamn mammoth
But there will
meatball.
also be people who are like, that dumbass ate the fucking meatball.
Yeah,
I'm
You don't know where that mammoth's been.
I'm just kidding. I actually really respect Teddy Roosevelt probably more than the rest of the people on that mountain. But anyway,
I'm on Harlow's side with this. I'm willing to test the mammoth meatball. I'm also willing to take the 30-year solo journey to Mars, but
yeah, same.
I would try it, and then I'd have a bottle of like Ipecac next to me.
nope.
Just be like, get it out of my system.
I'm going down with the ship.
I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? I mean, am I going to like get like prehistoric mammoth powers?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Hey, you never know. You could Hulk out.
At the very, okay, the least thing that could happen, fucking free meatball.
Yeah.
Right.
Am I going to get more hairy? I mean, that might happen.
The best thing that could happen, I die immediately.
Yeah. That's the best.
Does anyone eat elephant?
I'm sure people have. I mean,
No.
Just
Uh, one bite at a
because
time.
I would think that would be the similar
Sure.
flavor profile.
okay.
Well, weren't
To
there
a
woolly
mammoth.
mammoths around during the reign of Catherine the Great or something like that?
I don't
Like,
think.
don't
or
think-
Cleopatra.
I don't know that
Maybe
people.
Cleopatra.
I'm not sure that people in woolly mammoths actually ever coexisted, but I'm
Pretty sure they
okay.
did.
I mean, I don't know about like Homo sapien, possibly Homo erectus or something. Before.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I would eat a mammoth meatball in a heartbeat. You wouldn't even have to finish the question.
Okay. Well, in the future, you'd also probably have a robot to cook it for you.
Yes.
At least if you were in this movie,
And then I'd still have a shitty job.
probably. It would, and that meatball would cost you thousands of dollars.
All I want to do is just live long enough to go. That's a spicy meatball. Yeah. I want to. I want to.
Yeah,
I want to
would they-
die how I lived.
Would they let you season the meatball?
No,
That's the
no,
thing.
No,
They made the meatball,
no.
but
don't even
it's
need
just plain meatball.
I want to
So-
be the first person to experience unbridled mammoth meatball.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and like
Fake
when,
mammoth
and when you put
meatball.
the
Don't even cook
meatball
it.
in the pan, like what kind of oil drips out? Like, there's so many questions I have.
can't wait to
about
find
the
out.
meatball.
Give me
I don't think any oil can drip out because it hasn't formed yet.
the meatball.
So it's the mammoth has to die to
Oh,
become
man.
the oil
All right.
later.
Way off
I
the
hate
rails.
the fact that we're like 45 minutes into the podcast and we are literally like 10 minutes into the movie.
Well, let's talk about the actual plot. Okay.
Yes. So all
right. So
they
the
get,
nanny
they
bot
get the
goes crazy.
construction call.
Yeah.
They leave the construction call.
Nanny bot goes nuts. They get called in. Nanny bot is killed. I think the mother and one of the kids, but
I believe so.
But the infant child is still in the crib.
It
and-
has stabbed them to death.
Stabbed them.
Yeah,
But somehow they've
they
gotten the bodies
tastefully-
out of the body or out of the building. Like they're laying on the sidewalk, and so is the
They
dad.
were stabbed and then ran outside.
Okay. So the dad is sitting
and they
there. He's
proceeded to die.
traumatized.
Yeah, the dad's messed up.
All there is an infant child in there, so they've called in the runaway squad, the RoboCops, and
And they have a drone
they do have a drone. They have
that
like
they send in.
pretty much. I mean, it's not enough rotors to really actually move around like what they do. But I mean, for 1984, damn, it's a drone. It's what we think of as a drone. It's a triangular thing with a rotor in the middle. It's probably not enough to really steer, but it works in this world.
It's like an X-Files alien ship drone.
Yeah. But it gets sent in, and we find out that this nanny bot now has a gun because it shoots the.
robot with a
Well, what's
revolver.
funnier is we were like, oh man, they predicted this way back then. Why don't we have Why don't we have drones now? And then like immediately this thing goes, pew, and I was like, because they knew we would do that.
Right.
But yes, so now they know the nanny bot has a gun. So Tom Selleck's like, well, I'm going in regardless of I'm going to go save the kid.
And while he's been doing all this, the newscaster has just been
God.
harassing him.
Mm-hmm. This is a Mass Effect style newscaster where it's like you would be well within your First Amendment rights to punch them in the face.
I mean, to the extent that when he suits, he's suiting up in what they call an electromagnetic resistance suit, so that the robot cannot track him properly. And as she's explaining this into the camera, he's like, that the robot is tapped into this and can hear everything you're broadcasting right now.
Right. As he's been yelling at everyone to cut every feed, and, turn off everything electric, and also, well, I think they're like trying to flood the place with white noise and too much light to confuse its sensors.
Yeah. But he's like, all right, suit it up. I've got my outfit on. You can see that outfit on the poster of the movie.
It's chainmail with a weird battle vest.
And a codpiece.
It's a look. Yeah.
Yeah. It's great. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, he goes in to go and save the child. And as he's sneaking in, you hear the newscaster go, our brave cameraman is going to follow him in. And it's like, what?
As soon as she said that, he's going to die.
Oh, of course. But it's still like, and Tom Selleck looks back because he has he's Metal Gear Solided his way into a couple rooms so far, trying to get to the kid and locate the robot. And this cameraman just comes in and he's got, and this is a 1984 camera. So he's got the huge rig on his shoulder. He's got the bright light up top of it. And he is just following Tom Selleck through this house while he's trying to creep around.
Yep.
And promptly gets blasted in the face for his troubles.
By the robot.
By the robot.
Yeah, he got the shot.
Yep.
To his face.
Yeah, and from here, action geography gets weird.
A little bit, yeah, because he's still trying to creep down the hall and figure out where the robot is, and then
holes get blown in the wall next to him
that seem to be coming from the direction
the
he's
wall.
hiding.
Yeah.
Like he's almost like peering
he would
around.
Not be hidden with these shots.
Yeah, it's not done well, but whatever.
It is implied that the robot has shot through the wall at him, but it doesn't play out like that.
No. He gets the robot eventually, saves the kid.
Yeah, because he's got a little laser zapper.
Yeah. Also, he had tried to talk to the dad, and then the dad was like, "Oh, he's crazy," ran off. And he's like, "Who are you talking about?"
You really did it, that crazy son of a bitch.
Yeah. So, the plot has fully started. There's a mystery. There may be more here afoot.
Yes, the dad's child is held hostage by a robot, and he just leaves.
Right. Yeah, because he comes out with the kid. And he's like, "Where's his dad?" He's like, "Oh, he took off." He's like, "Really?" So.
Yeah, and I don't think the cops would let that happen anyway.
Oh no, he's not getting.
If there are dead family members, who's getting chained up by the cops immediately? Whatever family members are still alive.
Correct.
Yeah, he's just gone. He just took off.
Yeah.
Like,
but
okay.
then they I guess they track him down.
Yeah,
whatever through technology and stuff. He's in some rat hole motel. They catch up to him.
But I have to talk about the robot with the gun.
Okay.
Because it is just the dumbest looking thing, and it's terrific.
It's like a big Roomba with an arm that has a fucking gun. It's like a battle bot that just has a fucking gun.
Aim and pull a trigger.
I swear there was a battle bot that looked exactly like this one that had like a guillotine on the front, and it's just replace that with a hand that can hold a handgun instead, and it's just kind of silly.
Yep, but it's fantastic.
Just a hilarious look. This big chunky metal trash robot thing holding a fucking gun.
Yeah, but they take the robot back to the precinct for a robot autopsy, a robotopsy, and
it's a botopsy, I think.
Botopsy. Yeah. There but the other guy who's been working with them, because it's kind of like a Robot Squad is like a 3-man team, because this is Stan Shaw, who's was in Truck Turner and TNT Jackson, I will note. But he's Marvin, who's just kind of like, I don't think he ever leaves the lab. I mean, he's
He
wearing
does
like
not.
a full cop uniform. But
you
I don't
have to
think
put
he-
a uniform on.
Yeah, but I don't think he ever leaves the lab. But he's taking it apart, and he's like, "Oh, this chip is it's been a modified chip." It's,
It's a Texas Instruments, but it's got a streak of red on it.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and he's determined that something's up with this. But
Yeah,
then
he's like, there's something about this chip. It's very complex. It's not standard or whatever. But then, it's got a self-destruct mechanism on it that just first it goes up and just like a nice warning smoke, but then it doesn't really blow up, but it sparks a lot.
whenever
lets
anything
them-
sparks, people are going to dive to the floor.
Yeah.
In this movie.
It lets the magic smoke out, and then it there's like 4 fire fountains.
Yeah, there's like
that come out of the
sparklers.
top. Yeah, it's 4 sparklers basically.
So it's destroyed the chip and their evidence.
Yeah,
This
from
is-
here, so this is where they're like, we got to track down the dad.
Yeah, I think they were like they got enough of like the manufacturer of the chip or something, or no, they figured out where he worked and they went to his office. That's what it was, and they're just like in the records room trying to look up information about the dad who's disappeared and his family's dead. And then they get like a whoop whoop runaway in the building, and like a robot has trapped Kirstie Alley up in the executive floor, at just like it's like a sentry bot that's just like holding her there and zapping her if she tries to leave.
And it does some Emperor Palpatine lightning at her
Yeah.
when she tries to move.
Yeah, and so Gene Simmons is like, "Hey, this is a little, I don't know what they do with Kirstie out of this movie is a little weird because I mean it's like they brought her in just to like show the shot with her in the bra in the trailer, and then it's just like Tom Selleck can't help but be like even in front of his like nice looking partner and everything, who's like clearly expressed interest in him, and it's just like, damn, she's hot, and it's just like, okay, Tom Selleck, like easy, like.
There's something I appreciate about Tom Selleck being the guy who's like the good-looking dude who cannot read women at all. Like, there's something I really appreciate
The one
about
time
that.
in his career he's playing this guy.
Where he's playing the guy who just like is completely oblivious to the chick that's just throwing herself at him.
Yeah,
Like, does not get it at all.
like I said, he has decided that she is the hottest thing he's ever seen from like a shitty CRT TV from 1984, from footage of like her getting zapped by the robot. So he's like, oh yeah, we don't need her gear. It's just set for a low level stud. I'm gonna go save her. And then apparently because of its whatever haywireness, it was actually zapping him pretty well. So he gets thrown around the desks a couple times.
And this is Tom Selleck doing the jumps over
yeah.
these desks and rolling into desk chairs. So he knocks a few monitors over that get zapped so he can sneak around. Eventually throws his jacket on top of it, and then just goes fucking ham on this thing with a folding chair.
Oh yeah,
I don't even know if it's
no,
the
it's
chair.
It's like the side chair for a desk, like
Okay.
not the nice one you sit in, but like your guest chair. It's
Yeah.
like it's one of those.
I mean, he beats the fuck out of this robot, and then the security guard there is like, dude. You
could have
said
just turned it
yeah,
off.
you could have just shut it down. He's like,
He's like,
I had to make a judgment
yeah,
call.
executive decision. I had to show off for the lady here, but
Yeah, but I mean, it's just the way he commits to just bashing the shit out of this thing with this chair.
Yeah.
It's wonderful because he's like both hands holding this chair back behind his head, slamming
he's
it down on
fucking
the thing.
slanging it.
And then, like, what's even stranger is about his reaction to Kirstie Alley and everything is that they don't let that linger. Like, that never lingers at all. Like, she's immediately like, oh, thanks for saving me. Anyway, got to go. And he's like, what's the hurry? Where are you going? And just kind of, I guess, sort of grabs out at her and tears at her
they've already
purse.
been suspicious
Yeah.
because she's in there after hours
Right.
for no particular reason, and she's very much does not want to be around cops at all.
Right. Yeah. As soon as she's free, she's like, "Gotta go now." And he's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, hold on a second. I want to ask you a couple questions." And I don't know, somewhere in the like, "Hey, don't go." He grabs at something and
He grabs her purse,
all
which
the
dumps more chips.
Yeah, all
out.
the illegal chips dump out.
Yeah, because we skipped one scene where we actually get to kind of meet Gene Simmons' character.
Oh. Okay.
Because he was at
right.
he was at the murder scene in the background, looking like evil Gene Simmons.
So Gene Simmons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But he's just doing that whole stare thing that you're like, there's something off about this guy.
So Gene Simmons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But after that, he's meeting with another scientist
Uh-huh.
who's just like, all right, man, we got you the chips. I just want to get paid. And he's like, oh, well then.
Yeah, your money's right over there in this briefcase.
Why don't you just take this briefcase of money.
I have no idea where he goes.
Oh, he just fucking disappears
Yeah.
like a like
Like
a
a
super
vampire,
villain or
yeah.
a vampire.
It's-
Yeah.
yeah.
Like a Gene Simmons.
Yeah, but I will note the guy does not have the templates
No.
because he's like, I'm not giving you the templates yet. I don't want you to kill me. I just want my money.
Yeah, he hasn't even. He's got more chips that he owes him, and like the templates that he can create more, and he's holding those back until he gets his
and they make
payment.
it clear that this guy knows the family that was killed because he's like, oh, Johnson, a terrible thing that happened to his family, and Gene Simmons is like, yes, it was very bad,
Yes,
wasn't it?
truly awful how that could happen to him. You know, with this product that you know exactly what it does, and if I were to put it in a robot, it would do exactly that. I'm surprised you, as a scientist, can't put this together.
Yeah. May I interest you in a trip on a ship called Prometheus?
Yes.
You meet the intelligence requirements for Prometheus.
Yeah. Would you like to poke at a weird space life with no hazard protection on? Would you like to eat a mammoth meatball?
Yeah. Would you like to remove your helmet without
This is the kind of
testing
scientist I want to
atmosphere?
be. The Super Dave of scientists.
You know, Prometheus does work a lot better if you just think they're all Super Dave.
All right, I'm just gonna see what happens here when I touch this alien life form.
Oh, God, my arm.
Kids, you're going to have to look up Super Dave Osborne.
Yeah. He's a legend.
Yes. R.I.P.
Yeah. But so, yes, the guy opened, like, Gene Simmons vanishes. The guy's like, what? And then he opens a briefcase, and, of course, it's the old newspaper shredding, newspaper cuttings.
Yeah, like 100
replacing,
on,
there's
100
100
on top. Yeah.
The rest. I always wonder, who makes these? Like, who takes the time to cut this paper this way
I just like
and
that
then
you-
stack it that way?
I like that you're willing to fuck with somebody, that you're willing to buy a briefcase and waste $1,000 on leaving it behind, because you at least got 10 stacks of
Sure,
real
yeah.
hundreds there.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's just like, fuck you, buddy. This is worth $1,050
Yeah.
or whatever that briefcase
Yeah,
costs.
and then, of course, there's one of, as we're introduced to one of the spider robots at this point that comes up and just murks him, sticks a needle in his chin, basically, and kills
Yes,
him.
it does whatever a spider robot can.
These spider robots are awesome. These spider robots are my favorite character in the movie.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Okay.
But
They're goofy, right?
Sure.
They're weird. They're clickety clackety.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. They're really charming. They
also-
have personality.
I also appreciate the 80s-ness of the fact that if he had just paid them, the cops would never have found out about any of this.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You know, it's like, no, I can't just pay them and be done. I have to be evil and cheap.
Or if he had just shot them in the back of the head with a regular gun and left, would have been fine.
Yep.
He could have gotten away with it, but
Yep.
no.
Yeah. So anyway, that guy got killed. So now we know that Gene Simmons has this stuff. We know that they put him in them. They're killer things, and that there's some template that he wants, and then this is how, when Kirstie Alley has the chips, we know, okay, she's involved with Luther, and aka Gene Simmons.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, if it wasn't clear enough by the stripe on the chip, I mean, this whole thing is a red herring, because, I mean, it literally doesn't mean anything to anybody except that it's important to Gene Simmons, and catching Gene Simmons is important to Tom Selleck. Like,
Yeah.
we never see any deals with, like, he's going to sell it to these people. The only time we see him use it is in defense of his own ass. Like, you know, either to kill the people that developed it for him, or I guess in his smart bullet technology. We never see, he doesn't have some sort of master plan that we know of.
He
know.
does say that he's going to sell it to whoever wants to buy it.
But right, that's
Which also,
yeah.
another red flag this other guy should have seen
Yeah.
is when he's just like, oh, yes, it'll make me very rich. And he's like, well, this could be terrible in the wrong hands. He's like, I know. That's great, isn't it?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. I'll sell it to whoever will pay me for it. But yeah. So it's a smart bullet.
Mhm.
And it's demonstrated because after Kirstie Alley, wait, no, it's not even then. It's somehow they go to track down the second guy
Yeah, I mean,
before
I think,
they get to Kirstie Alley.
Yeah, I was gonna
There's
say-
the second guy, they track him down to an apartment complex. I don't even know
you're
how they
talking about
get
the
that.
dad, right? The
dad who ran away.
Right, yeah. He's just in a shitty motel, and they're like, they've found him via whatever, biometrics. They go to confront him. He shoots at the door, doesn't get anybody, but they're like, we're here to rescue you. And he's like, you can't take me outside, and starts to flip out again and
Yeah.
start running away, because I think he catches a glimpse of Gene Simmons, like, as soon as they walk out of the
Yes.
hotel. Isn't he like at the hot dog vendor or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He has
Yeah,
bought a
and then
coffee.
he's like, oh, fuck, it's him. I gotta go. And Gene Simmons just pulled. This is where we first see his magic robot gun.
Not that kind. The other one.
Yeah,
not the gun, the normal gun that the robot was holding. This is some sort of weird smart gun that fires smart bullets. Or, I mean, they're almost like the tungsten rod ideas for like instead of like projectile weapons from space and shit would like they did this in like the second G.I. Joe movie. It's an idea. If people have actually worked on this of like why would we make nukes and stuff? It's like if you take certain.
Oh, you're talking about the rods from God.
Yeah.
The orbital.
Right.
Orbital inertia weapons.
Yeah. I mean, these were actual things that people talked about. It's like why it's a simple piece of metal dropped from high enough onto the right target will do way more damage and leave no nuclear waste behind like a nuke. So. Anyway, but yes, I'm just saying it's like a mini version of that. It's like a metal rod that's being propelled through the air.
it's the gun that
it's a tiny missile.
Yeah, but the gun for some reason they have Tom Selleck wielding it on the poster, even though it is Gene Simmons' gun throughout the movie.
Sure.
It's
maybe he got to keep it at the end.
Prop,
I don't know. Yeah,
but it's also like whenever Gene Simmons fires it, it doesn't look good at all.
Not really.
I really like. I mean, I like the Evil Dead cam stuff they do with the bullet chasing around corners and going after people. I like that part.
They did do some cool things that were not. I don't know if they're underplayed to the right effect or just like why would you bother if it's going to be that quick? Because like they do some clever shots of like they run one of those cams through like a metal pipe that's on like the back of a truck or something, and it's like there wasn't really a reason to do that other than like that's a cool looking shot, but it happens so fast. It's like I bet that was difficult to do given the constraints of what you were filming with at the time.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, but eventually, like Tom Selleck sees the bullet because apparently it does not travel as fast as a bullet. Because they're like running around, it's chasing them.
Yeah, it's not going that fast.
Yeah, so he even has time to look back at it at one point, dodges it, and it hits a wall next to him. And then the next one is when she stops the guy. She blocks the alley, is able to stop him, and then sees the bullet come at her, take a U-turn, and then hit that dude in the back and kill him.
Yeah. I mean, he was trying to like climb up a fire escape, so it was more dramatic when he gets hit. But he's dead now. But now they have. Well, shit. Where does she get hit in their arm? It's not in this scene.
No, it's the next scene.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Because they both now they know who Luther is.
Right.
Because she's able to identify him, and there's a pretty cool little iPad thing they have, which is they're like putting together different eyes and faces. Like it's almost.
Yeah, it's a character creator from a video game that makes a perfect Gene Simmons at the end.
Yep. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. But from here, that's when they have to go check. The whole Kirstie Alley thing happens, and then Kirstie Alley gives them the information to where Luther is brokering a deal with someone.
Okay, right.
For the bullets.
That's right.
And so they go there to bust him, and he uses a drone in the ceiling to drop down, fill the room with smoke.
Yeah, gas or smoke, something. Yeah.
Yeah, which somehow affects Tom Selleck because he's like crying by the end of it. So I'm wondering if like Tom Selleck, the person, is allergic to whatever was in that or something, because Gene Simmons and the other girl in the room are clearly unaffected by this, but like they literally have Tom Selleck like eyes red. He's crying.
Maybe he's just that good of an actor, man. I think we're really underselling Tom Selleck's craft here.
I don't think that's it.
Oh, okay.
I really think like he had like some allergic reaction to this or something, and
maybe he's allergic
I'm sure
to
like
Gene
the
Simmons.
55 pages of IMDb trivia written by Michael Crichton would tell us this information, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, Gene Simmons is able to shoot the partner in the arm with one of the bullets.
It seems like she dies. I mean, like because
she gets hit and drops.
He clearly shoots the other two cops that went in with them, and
and then he kills the two guys that were purchasing.
I was like, oh, that's a weird way for the partner to go out because I mean, it really looks like she goes down, but then she's just on the gurney, like, oh, he got me in the arm.
Yeah, but he also shoots the bullet down the hall, like it chases a couple cops around the corner when they try to shoot at him, and he gets away.
Yep, but he comes back and like I said, she's not dead. She's just laying in a gurney. It's like, oh, it just hit me in the arm, but because it's not a normal bullet, it's an
unexploded round.
Yeah, unexploded round. Basically, he's like, we've got to take this out now, and it's treated like a bomb scenario. Like everyone has to leave the room, and
yeah, it's a weird change of pace, and because this is also like starts a sequence of like everybody just yelling a lot because the chief shows up and he's like, what the fuck did you do? This doesn't involve robots. What the hell are you doing here? And he's like, oh, no, it does actually, because this is the guy who did this. And he's like, I don't give a shit. There's two cops dead.
There's a weird almost lack of swearing in this movie, almost like Demolition Man style. I mean, I'm just saying, I know you're exaggerating for effect, but like there is a point where he's basically like, all right, because they try to bring in some sort of bomb disposal / surgical robot in, and he's like, don't trust that thing, it's a piece of shit, I'll do it myself. But he's trying to clear the room, and this is like one of the first times that there's been any sort of swear in the movie. He's like, I need the fucking room cleared, everybody. He's like, I'm tired of this shit, and and the TV crew's there, and he's like, Jack, you're on TV, or Ramsey, or whatever his name is. Like,
he's
you're
like,
on TV.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. Like, clear the room, and
well, and also there was just nudity in the scene before because they're completely gratuitous. One of the women there is like getting out of the shower and asking for something, and just topless nudity. And it's like, wait. Because this movie they've gone out of the way to really not have gore or anything. Like when they show him the bodies of the stabbed people, it's a POV shot from the body.
Right.
Like you see them lifting up the sheet and looking at the body.
I don't know. I mean, this was that weird time period where the PG-13 rating was coming in. I mean, Temple of Doom was the same year. They may have been like, shoot it where it could be released either way, because maybe they were like, it might make more money. I don't know. 84
this was like
period.
December of 84.
Yeah,
it came out.
Is that weird time period where PG-13 had just gotten introduced, and I think people were like, it might make more money, or I'm sure studio people were like, survey says probably about 42% more movie going audience.
Yeah, but either way, like I'm pretty sure that's very much the only nudity, and I'm pretty sure that's the only swearing in the movie is this one scene.
There's a silly scene later where he talks with his son that his son chastises him about cursing because it was on television. Yeah. And they almost seem to break character that they're laughing about it. Like he and the kid actor. Yeah. I mean, it's like I said, I don't know. I mean, I'm almost wondering if there's some. I'm sure maybe in the the litany of IMDb trivia it's in there. I don't know, but it just seems like maybe they were trying to ride that edge early on.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, what he has to do is pull the bullet out. And this is another one of those tech limitation scenes that I think really works, where you see on a screen basically what equates to an X-ray of her arm with the bullet in it, and they keep cutting to that as they have him pulling the bullet out.
It's an effective thing, especially because I never understood this. It's like you see this in every single scene. It's like instead of like going from the bottom where the bullet could just come out of her arm the other side where it's pointed already. It's like he has to go in from the beginning of the wound and dig all the way through and pull it out. But he's like, he's got it on the clamps or whatever, and like is pulling it out and loses grip, and it like slaps back into place. And she's like,
it springs back in almost.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's an effective thing without having to actual show gore, and she reacts. But by the end of this, it's like it becomes less of like a, bite your belt and we're going to take the gun bullet out, and it starts feeling like a birth scene because she is like, I mean, it goes on so long.
And he's like, I can see it.
Yeah.
I can see it. It's almost there.
Yeah.
And it's like, is this an intentional thing? Like, is that what they're going for?
Yeah. It turns a little weird. It's like it starts as an effective scene, and it's like, is this? I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Weird.
But either way, he saves her.
Yeah. He gets the bullet
it does
out,
not blow her arm off.
Gets the bullet out, throws it across the room, blows up the minibar or whatever, and everyone's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this is when he invites her for dinner. She's like, okay. I got a bandage on my arm. I'm still
she's got to the hospital, and he's waited for however long the fucking hospital's made her wait, and then is sitting there.
And he's like, well, I mean, dinner at my place. Yeah. And she immediately is like, all right. Oh, really?
Yeah. Who wants a mustache ride? I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. Let's do this. And he's like, oh, yeah, it's very good to, and like, not even like doing an overcorrection thing where it's like, oh, no, this is perfect. Like, he's like, yeah, it's good to get to know your partner, and if we're gonna have a working relationship and all that stuff. And then her face just sinks, and then he's like, I don't understand what her reaction was.
Yeah.
But anyway,
and then he goes home and has the weird scene with his son where they just break character.
Yeah, where because
so like. Oh, they eventually go back to Kirstie Alley. I mean, they have some weird little mini dramas or whatever.
Well, yeah, they next day. They go into the precinct, and Luther calls them, and he's like, "Oh, I see you doing this." Like he's basically doing the whole "I can see you, I see exactly what you're doing," and describing all the things that they're trying to do during this scene.
Yeah, and I like that. Like it's kind of just like shitty past tech being future. That like you think about it now, and it's like if we had this technology, the police, the police floor would have probably have like 16 cameras on it. But in this world, it's just like they have one CCTV that's just hanging on the wall, and they just
throw a hat
on it. And he's like, "Well, that wasn't very nice." Like now I can't see.
Yeah, but he basically tells them, "You got to bring me Kirstie Alley." He doesn't tell them when or where. He just says, get her to me. And then hangs up.
Yeah. And they
So-
basically just use her as bait. I mean,
Yeah.
they
Yeah, but he goes downstairs and he's like, all right, Kirstie Alley, what's the deal? Why does Luther want you so bad? And she's like, I don't know. I don't get it. And it's just, Kirstie Alley is very antagonistic throughout this. Like every scene with Tom Selleck is antagonistic, really. And she's also like, you don't know what you're doing. You don't understand Luther.
she's. I mean, it's a cliched and shitty character that I'm glad we got away from. But it's the Moll, the MOLL. I
Yeah.
mean, it's I will follow the bad guy, though I know at some point I mean nothing to him and he's going to kill me. I'm still going to follow him until the end. It's just, it's a trope and it's stupid, and I'm glad we got away from it. But
Well, aside from Harley Quinn.
yeah, except that's become different now.
Yeah, I know.
It's branched off into its own thing. I think it's like trying to reclaim that into its own thing. I don't know.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So they take her. They're like, all right, well, we're going to use you as bait. And this is the scene you're talking about where basically she ends up taking her clothes off, but they don't show nudity. They just have her. There's a bug in her lapel on her blouse, so she has to hand over her blouse, and then she's just got a bra on. And then the scanner says, "Oh, there's a bug in the bra." So she has to take the bra off. So she turns her back to the camera and takes the bra off. And then it's like, oh, there's one in your waist and
Yeah,
all that sort of shit.
she's loaded with bugs.
Yep.
Kirstie Alley has bugs.
Well, I mean now, yeah, probably. Sorry.
Too
Is
soon.
that important?
all right.
Too soon.
Who
I mean,
cares?
a little bit on the nose too.
But so this leads them to doing a chase scene on the highway because this is where they take the two Johnny cabs, which are cop Johnny cabs.
One's a regular car.
Oh, that's
his
right.
partner's
Yeah,
driving a
yeah,
regular car.
yeah. The partner is driving
Yeah.
that, and the other two are in the back seat of the Johnny cab. And the guys who are following them start releasing. I guess they're drones, but they're kind of not.
I guess I think they're supposed to intended that they have wheels. I mean, I think they're driving on the ground.
They're little lock-on RC bombs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're RCXDs that have a
Yeah,
homing
but
feature.
it's pretty cool. They have like an opening in the floor, and they're just dropping them down, and they're all
Yeah.
taking off.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys have like an unlimited supply of these things
Well, sure.
because they just send. And she's got a laser on top of her car that's been shooting them one at a time.
Right.
But eventually, and I guess they have these heads-up displays that are on their back and front windshields that show, okay, here's where the targets are in relation to, it's like a whole thing.
Yeah, they got a whole HUD system of like,
Yeah.
yeah.
But they show like, at the end, there's like 6 or 7 of them coming after them. And that's when Tom Selleck's like, we got to bail. We got to go in the other car. And there's a stuntman who does the whole back doors are open and goes from one car to the other while it's moving.
It's a good one.
Mega split the guy has to do.
Yeah, that guy does a split. And that's when I'm like, oh, man, you're committed now, buddy.
Yeah.
There's no going back on this one. And I know they have harnesses and all that stuff, but man, it's still always is just like,
Yeah, you'd think there's a yank rope on one side or the other to get him into either one of the cars.
for
yeah.
sure.
yeah. But man, it like that's one of those stunts that's always like, oh God.
Oh no, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything like outside of a car at high speed always has a way of freaking me out.
I think it's,
Especially in those days where there's no CG covering anything.
I think it's the 2-car thing. Like I think I could do the like run on top of a train or
Yeah.
or like TJ Hooker on the front of a car. It's the idea of like 2 independent people or vehicles staying perfectly in line. Those are the things I don't trust. Like and me being the bridge between them. It's like I would not want to leap from one vehicle to another or anything like that. So.
Yeah.
Credit to those stunt drivers, though. They make it happen. I don't know how.
Yeah.
I say that, but like I would also probably totally want to do the crazy pole thing from Mad Max and just land in the other car. Like
Yeah.
that seems awesome because you're just
That does feel
pendulum
like it'd be pretty
swinging.
fucking
Yeah.
cool.
I would want to do that.
But they're able, he gets into the car and then has Kirstie Alley jump from one car to the other.
Yep.
But she makes sure to bring her purse with her, which immediately they start tracking the purse.
Yeah. Well, they blow up the one car, the Johnny Cab police
Yeah.
car, but then they start tracking. Oh no, now there's 6 coming at us, and he's like, "Give me the purse," or she's fishing out basically the template thing that's in her purse and has them throw the rest of the purse out, which they all attack that and blow up, and aha, now we have the templates.
Yeah.
I don't even think we really see how they get to. I think it's just like we just
They
jump
just
to.
show up at a restaurant.
Yeah, they're like at like this outdoor robo sushi vendor, but there's like a real restaurant next door. They order some robo sushi, but then they get a call over his headset from Gene Simmons, who's took the headset from his partner, who is being held hostage in this restaurant. All this happens off screen. We just get a call, and Gene Simmons is like, "I have your partner. Bring me the whatever the things, the templates."
Yeah.
So yeah, they have to.
So,
it's a long scene. Like they have to like talk to the maitre d, and then like a waiter comes over and is like, "No, we need a minute." It's just like, guys, you could skip all this. Like, I don't know.
You don't need. This isn't building tension.
Maybe those were like cousins that needed SAD cards or something. Yeah. Other Crichtons. I don't know.
Yeah. But it eventually works out where trading woman for woman, and Kirstie Alley tears. Basically, the templates are kind of like a fold-out set of wallet pictures.
Yeah,
and she tears the thing in half. She so that the templates are split. There's she's got 4 of them, and leaves the 4 with Tom Selleck and just says, "Hey, this is insurance for me," and goes over there, and they switch off. But as they're switching off, 5 waiters come out and they bring a cart with all the desserts on it.
And the
There's
birthday cake. They come
all
out to
these
sing
things
for
in
everybody.
the way between where they're supposed to do the exchange, and Kirstie Alley gets over there and does the mall thing of, "Okay, I'm going to kiss Gene Simmons," and he rewards her by stabbing her in the base of the skull.
Yep. And then realizing he only has half the things.
And getting pissed.
Yeah.
But then that's when Tom Selleck has pulled out his gun, and then Gene Simmons gets away.
Right. Again.
Yeah, he hops through a fountain or something and gets away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he knifed her in the back of the head, threw her in a fountain, then he jumped in the same fountain, which was sort of like an infinity edge pool, down to a lower level where it was dumping, and then got away. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Then does he call again? And it's just like,
no. What happens is they put a bug in the
right. That's right.
The one that he took, and so they're like, "Oh, we tracked him down. He's at this place," and so they have
every cop.
45 cops. It's at the hospital. So they have 45 cops waiting to storm the bathroom he's in until Tom Selleck shows up, and then just takes a shotgun, kicks each door of the stall open, and of course he's not there.
Yep.
And they do the bug tracker, and they find it, and it's just stuck in a toilet paper roll. And that's when he says the line that BJ used at the beginning, where he's just "Congrats, you guys staked out a roll of toilet paper."
Yeah. But then he calls in the forensics lady with her, robo anteater vacuum to figure out what's been going on here, and they get spider botted for their troubles for hanging around and doing their job. Just because Gene Simmons was like, "I'm going to murder somebody that's going to come in here," I guess.
I'm sure he was hoping to murder Tom Selleck.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I forgot how they end up hooking back up, because Gene Simmons also has a cop uniform and goes into the police station. I also don't really understand how he would have gotten a copy of Tom Selleck's eye. I don't.
That's a very good question.
But somehow he has a 3D model of Tom Selleck's eye. Not like an actual eye, but just somehow he's made one that will fool the retina scanner, gets him into his computer, and he finds out all about him and that he's got a kid, and then he's like, "Why don't we get that kid?"
I think he's just proving that he's a resourceful guy here.
Sure. Yeah, I'm just saying there's never a point
He's
where
a
it's
go-getter.
Yeah,
Right.
there's never. It would have been nice if there was something where it was like, "Aha, you scanned and I actually stole your eye," or I don't know, just that little scene of "Yeah, I fooled you."
But no.
But yeah, so he knows where his kid is. They basically come in and his computer's still logged in stuck on a page about his son, and he's like, "Daddy," or whatever his name is, and gotta go home.
Yeah,
Every
and they
kid's
go
named
home,
Danny.
and Lois, his crummy robot, is
I'm
just
sorry, this is almost like bordering on
up.
funny, because it's it's like doing the Ash thing, they found him and it's just like I'm leaking here, buddy.
Yeah. I'm not gonna make it.
Daisy.
Yeah. She gets out that yes, the mean man took Tommy, or whatever the fuck the kid's name is.
Yeah, and then just as she goes to to run a diagnostic, and I don't know if, again, it's almost assumed that when she starts to run this diagnostic, it's sends the trace to Gene Simmons, because the second that initiates her, his phone rings, and he's like, it's a weird bit of movie making, because they let you do the "we'll hear the other end" until the last line of the conversation, and they put us in the dark.
Yeah, because he's like, "I've got your son. I just want my templates.
Yeah,
Let's trade. Meet me at," and then the "meet me at" cuts off.
Right. And we just hear that, okay, I'll see you then. And then partner's like, where are you going? He's like, I can't tell you. You can't follow me. You know, don't call anyone. If he finds, you know, if I don't go alone, he's going to kill my son, and I'm not going to risk that. So,
Yeah.
and she,
And he smartly, like, she's like, just tell me. And he's like, no.
nah.
And he leaves. And that's when she fucks with the robot, and the robot has recorded the conversation.
Right.
And plays it back before bursting into sparklers. Yeah, but it's the construction site from earlier.
Yeah.
Or at least, I don't know if it's supposed to be, but, you know.
It is. As
it's
far
more
as
economical.
as far as the set goes, it is the same place.
Yes,
Yeah.
just with the lights off now.
Right. And of course, because you know it had to be somewhere like that, because why else would you set up the Vertigo angle of your main character if not to put him in that scenario, much like the movie Vertigo.
Yes. Yeah. There's even a shot that is like, all right, yeah, that's from Vertigo.
Yeah,
Yep.
I know. I was just
I know.
for comedic purposes. I was pausing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, Gene Simmons is way up on top with his kid.
But I love when he gets on the elevator. This is the other touch that I love is there is human speed on the elevator.
Yeah, it's basically
It's a whole ass button
there's
dedicated to slowing
There's
it
basically
down.
up, down, stop, and human speed are your buttons.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh, but also he's left like 5 or 6 spider bots on the ground, and he's like, "Don't worry about it. They're programmed not to harm you." And he has to walk past the spider bots and get on the elevator. But yeah.
Yeah. So
It's
then-
up, you know, seems to be coping with his fears somewhat, except that he keeps looking down way too much.
Yeah,
but,
it takes him a long time to get to the top of this building on the elevator, and I do like that. By the end, he's like leaning his head against it. He's like, "Oh man," it's like he's drunk. You know, like when you're getting the spins when you're drunk, you're just like, "I just need to stop for a minute. I just need to not do anything right now." And that's kind of the pose and the look he has on his face as he's just leaning against his grate with his eyes closed.
I will give this movie credit. If you watch the background, all of the floors are accurate as he's going up. Everything is going up. It is not badly cut. All the floors are, you know,
Sequential, as they should
as you
be.
should be, unlike Star Trek V, where he goes past the same floor like 5 times. And also out of order numbers and shit. But yeah, just little things like that. If you're going to put big numbers on an elevator seat or something like that, either don't put the fucking numbers or edit it right. It's simple, people.
Yeah, but he gets to the top, and there's little Billy or Tommy or whatever the fuck his name is, and he's like, "All right, when he gets down, you'll get your stuff."
Yeah, he's just like, "Sure, cool, whatever," and lets him go and makes him get in the elevator, push down. Doesn't tell him to push human speed, which I think was a problem, but and
Maybe
then when he's
human
like,
speed was already
Yeah,
engaged.
Possibly.
and he's like, "Once he's okay, you'll get the templates." And he's like,
it's like,
"Well,
about that.
about that, those spiders are programmed to kill whoever comes off that elevator first."
Sorry.
And he's like, "You son of a bitch, Gene Simmons." And then the rest of the scene is him yelling down the thing, going, "Stop the elevator, Tommy!" And little Johnny going, "No, I can't. Now the buttons work."
But luckily, the partner disobeyed his orders and listened to the recording, because she shows up and I don't know, is basically just able to sort of yell him off the elevator to around the spiders. The spiders don't seem particularly aggressive at this point. Not like they become murder machines, like, you know, relentless Terminators at a point. But like they're just like, "Oh, you climbed up there? Oh shit! If only I was a spider bot."
Well,
I
he
could
never
follow
gets off of it. They just climb up to the floor above it, I guess,
okay.
kind of. But yeah, so she
But yeah.
saved little Jimmy.
Yeah, just
And-
it's basically just like, all right, he's safe now. Don't worry about that. Let's deal with these guys up here, because Gene Simmons is now firing the smart bullets at him, and he's ducking behind construction equipment and stuff.
Yeah.
And then
Eventually, he dives onto the elevator and just slams the up button. And it goes up at.
actually, I think he did hit the down elevator. I think Gene Simmons has been fucking with the elevator, because
Okay.
I think he did actually accurately hit the down elevator, but the thing just goes,
Yeah,
whoop.
because the partner had sent it back up somehow. But yeah, whatever it does, it goes all the way to the top of the building.
Yeah, and gets a kind of scary, like, I've hit the end of my track thing that's actually above the building. I mean, it's like hovering up above the building by itself. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just like, "Oh, well, I'm way up here, and this is scary," and has the vertigo shot, like, look directly down for some reason, and then it's like you hear the tick, 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 tick. Here come the spider bots. They're actually on the elevator, and they're coming up from the floorboards to murder him. He had actually just discovered something. He discovered like a reset button, but hadn't actually hit it before the spider bots.
Well, the reset button is smartly placed on the underside of the elevator.
Sure.
And there is a hatch, but he doesn't try to go through the hatch. He doesn't try to do any of that because I think when he's looking at the hatch, that's when the robot spiders show up.
Okay.
And yeah, he ends up basically knocking them all off of the thing, and they blow up as soon as they are free falling for some reason.
Right.
But yeah,
I mean, it's much like when a car flips on its end.
Yeah.
It will immediately blow up spider bots when they hit the air.
Yeah, when they hit terminal velocity,
Yeah.
they terminate. Yeah. He ends up crawling around the outside of it and then underneath, which is like, for someone with vertigo, like, no, that's just not happening.
Yeah.
You know? But anyway, he's able to hit the button, climb himself back in as the elevator is going back down. And of course, it stops at Gene Simmons' floor. And Gene just has the best smile on his face as he stands there.
It's like, oh, what luck.
Yeah. He is just so pleased as punch that the elevator has come back to him, and it's got a Tom Selleck on it with more soot all over his face and some cuts because he's been battling robots.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. He also got acid to the face.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
that's right.
Gene Simmons established that it was not just like poison or whatever; it was acid coming out of their little stingers, and he didn't get injected with them, which I guess is what they're intended to do: is inject the acid in your face. But he just got sprayed.
Yeah, he got sprayed.
Yep. And he's basically like, all right, this is a lot easier. I get to shoot you. And that's when Tom Selleck slams the button. And it's going down at robot speed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Gene Simmons is like, oh. And it's funny because like he's got these the boots on, kind of like a high-heeled something. And it looks like Tom Selleck's just like trying to push him by the ankles
Yeah.
to get him off. And eventually they get close to the bottom and he just hits stop. And that's when Gene Simmons gets thrown off directly into the path of the spiders who say, oh, someone came off the elevator. And so they crawl all over him and inject him all over the place.
They give him the business.
Yep. They acid him up and
They give him a little kiss.
Yeah. There it is. And he flips out and dies. We think. Probably.
Pretty much dies.
Yeah.
Mostly dead.
Yep. So then they're like, okay, cool. But everybody good? You good, little Frankie? Okay, partner, we're good too. All right, let's get out of here. And Tom
I'm
Selleck
Harlow.
and Tom Selleck has to come in. He has to check on Gene Simmons one last time, which we all know where this is going.
Yes.
Is he's pushing on he's like checking his vitals on his neck, and Gene Simmons goes, ah!
Like
And
actually
then-
wakes up like Dracula, like it's like what?
and dies again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Selleck does this kind of interesting thing when that happens. He just holds like
He knows
stone faced.
Yeah.
And he just is like, it looks like he's pressing down on his
Yeah,
neck.
it almost looks like he's strangling him.
Yeah,
at
it's
that
like,
point.
oh no, you're not doing this shit. I'm not letting you up, you fucking son
I
of
mean,
a
the
bitch.
thing to me is it just felt like a wrestling no sell. Like it's like,
Yeah.
oh, you want to vamp up and kill me? It's like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna sit here and act like it didn't do anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
But then he kisses the partner. They're like, all right, life is good. And then credits roll.
There's a nose boop.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
He
He
doesn't.
gets-
He knows boops her several times. Like I think before they go into the actual kiss.
It's because no, she
Oh,
she
yeah.
gets she
he's-
gets acidy face
Yeah.
soot
Yeah.
on her, and so he's actually wiping her nose
the
off.
thing
But
is-
it looks like a boop.
It does.
I think he had trouble getting it off because he actually like gets in the rim of her nose trying to wipe that shit off. And it's like, no, don't do that. No.
Tom Selleck's not a perfect man.
But he's definitely a man.
He is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes with two other men and a baby.
Sometimes.
Yeah, that was not too long after this, I think.
That was like 7 years.
Or was it?
Yeah. It was,
No, I was in the '80s still. First one.
oh, yeah. Like 5 years. Either way. Yeah.
I say '88, but that's my weird guess. But that's
Actually, I think it's
87.
87. Yep. You're so close. I was way off the first time. It was probably 3 Men and a Little Lady. It's 1991 would be my guess.
yeah.
But anyway.
So,
Yeah, they kiss a lot as the credits roll. And it's kind of camera
it.
floats around them kissing.
smooching.
Yep.
Yep. Then
And-
they went home and did some Quigley Down Under.
Right.
Right.
We have to talk about the soundtrack at least
I
a
was gonna
little,
say,
or
Jens will get angry.
Yeah, Jens will stop.
There was a soundtrack in this?
There
Okay,
was.
I'm
There was.
talking. Okay.
It was done by computers. No, it wasn't done by computers. It was done by synthesizers.
Yes.
Um,
Coordinated by Jerry Goldsmith.
composed by Jerry Goldsmith.
Sure.
I think it was.
Can
I
you
think
compose
it
a
was,
synthesizer?
I think yes. You can compose.
You can make
tunes.
a composition. Yes.
And I believe the synthesizer operator was Joel
Okay.
Smith. Harlow said it sounded like a Vangelis soundtrack, and
I didn't know.
I think it's
going-
mostly because it's kind of a like.
I
did-
like it.
I didn't like. I didn't notice the music credit going in, and when it started up, I'm just like Vangelis or Wendy Carlos. That's where my brain goes when I hear synthesizer. So
Yeah. Well, I just
Because
I,
there are only two people.
I like 80s sci-fi movies because they've all got a variation of this.
Yeah,
And you know what? I will enjoy it every time I hear it.
absolutely.
Just about.
And this is a good one. Like it sounds.
It sells
fits
what it
wh-
needs to sell.
It sells what it needs to sell. Like, obviously, Goldsmith's a good fucking composer, right?
Mhm, yeah.
He knows what he's doing with film, and the intense bits are intense, the soft bits are soft, and it just so happens to be in synthesizer format, which sounds really fucking good for what they're going for with this
Yeah.
movie. The end credits song is a bit weak, though. Whatever
that was the one that really Vangelis did up.
Yeah.
I mean, because it was like the love theme from Runaway.
Yeah.
and that's probably also part of why it won the poll, because it was a Goldsmith. So
I that poll won overwhelmingly.
yeah,
It was like 77% at the end, I think.
all of those were Jens. Jens created 5 new
just-
Patreon accounts.
You
just
know
to
what?
vote.
As many as he wants to put in there and donate at least $1,
We'll take it.
You know what? I'm not going to turn
Stuff
it down.
the ballot box if you dare.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, vote early and often.
we don't mind having a poll tax.
No.
We can admit that.
All right. Rating time. I don't know what to rate this.
I'm going 3 jocks. I feel like I've given 3 jocks a lot lately, but like this
You
is
have.
like it's close to a real movie, but like I said at the start, like its datedness is what makes it not great. But I think a lot of the robot and effects work is pretty good.
I think a lot of the robot and effects work is really good.
Yeah.
The cars, when the little HUD comes up on the cars, that looks really good.
Yeah.
All of the effects look really good.
Yeah, and all the drone stuff and the hover stuff, like
Yeah,
especially the stuff on the highway, I was like, I'm not sure how they did this. I mean, it's some kind of compositing, but they did it really well. Like it's
with the little remote control cars, I don't know.
I don't
know
think
if
they were
it's
RC
composite.
cars
I don't
because
think
I
it-
really don't feel like they were on the ground. I felt like they were floating in all the scenes.
I think they were. I think it was normal cars going really slow, like at like neutral slow.
Yeah.
And then just those things going at like full tilt, and just that effect of like them going so much faster. Probably.
Yeah,
look
that makes
normal.
sense.
Yeah.
And I think
however it is, it looks really good.
Yeah, and those things were shaped that those camera angles you could hide wheels on those things. I think pretty
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
But they look good. Like all of that shit looks proper. I didn't really catch anything slacking.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but I guess it's just I also love the whole. All right, yes, it's a robot murder mystery, but here's like the banal entry point to it. Is like he's just kind of a traffic cop for robots,
Yeah.
or actually he's not even that. He's like the roadside assistance for robots.
Yes. He's the road rangers for
Yeah.
For
yeah,
robots.
but that's your entry point that kind of sells everything else that follows it. And there's a lot to like. Gene Simmons is I really enjoy his brand of weird. I think we've seen have we seen well, we haven't watched Kiss Meets Phantom of the Park, but otherwise I know we've seen this, Wanted Dead or Alive, and Stargrove, Never Too Young to Die.
Yeah.
Like those are the big 3 I would think at this point, aside from Kiss Meets Phantom of the Park. But or Phantom of the Paradise. I forget which one's which.
That
That always confuses me because I haven't seen either of
I think
them.
Phantom of Paradise is that the one? Isn't there one of them that has Paul Williams in it?
Yeah, I think that's Phantom of the Paradise, and then
All right.
Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. I think
Yeah.
is the other one. Yeah, but anyway, like, there's a weirdness to him and a sinisterness to him that I love that he's willing to lean into whenever he does these parts. So, but yeah, I'd say 3 jocks. I think it's definitely worth a watch.
It's strange because I feel like this is like a real movie that does real movie things. And it's not as... It is dated, but it's not as dated. It's more dated in a Blade Runner way, right? And it's obviously not on the caliber of Blade Runner, but it's dated in a Blade Runner way, which means I feel like watching this, if you have a concept of what life was like back in 1984, you don't have to have been there as long as you understand vaguely what it was. Like, yeah, this doesn't look too out of place. There's a lot of stuff that is hilariously recognizable about this world compared to our 2023 world. So yeah, I think I'll have to land at 3 jocks too, because it doesn't go super crazy in any particularly BMFcasty direction, but it's got just enough, and they're really earnest about all of the kind of silly shit that happens throughout.
And I'll say this, bonus points for not just chucking Gene Simmons off the building like I was expecting.
Yeah, fair enough.
Having the robots do it, I think, works better.
Yeah. Yeah, there's an expression that it works with, but yeah. Was that it? 3?
Yeah, I'm going to go with 3.
I think I'm going to land on 2, and it's not that I like this less or whatever.
Boo this man!
Like everything I appreciate about this movie is like on a technical and aesthetic level. I just think that the story, if you break it down like we just did, is kind of weak and lacking in connective tissue to be better. And really, there's some interesting action. There's not really ever really good action. I mean, it's like I appreciate the stunt guy like going between the cars and stuff, but like at a certain point in that scene, you're like, all right, it's those things keep going after him, and most of them just end in the car going pew pew, and but it's like there are good ways that they're making it. It's just like it's not enough like dramatic tension to make it a good action scene really.
There's more tension than action.
Yeah. That being said, like I really really like all of the future looking, William Gibson style, like this is how shit's gonna look, kind of thing. And because I mean, pads, little wireless headsets. I mean, those drone things. I mean, just Roombas and other shit to do menial tasks and put cars together. I mean, they were talking about like they went to the construction site, and that wasn't a fully robotic construction site, but the 4-woman person was basically like saying that there's another place across town that's like totally robotic, like not a human on site. And it's like I like that idea of like it's a world in transition to becoming the full, like everybody's lazy Wall-E world where robots do fucking everything and people just are gigantic and huge and sitting in floating chairs. I think one thing that like might make this movie seem bad or cheesy is I think there's something. I think what gets Blade Runner as a pass is going so hard into the aesthetic with the film noir and the rain stuff, because I mean that covers so much.
Hide your crimes.
Yeah, hide your crimes and sort of thing. And I mean, it's sort of like, I don't know these people, but I guarantee they exist, because for every opinion you have, there is somebody with a completely divergent one. But there's probably people that think Moon is a bad movie because it's like clean and feels real, and it's not hiding its flaws and things with its technology. It's just, it seems so practical. And then there's probably people who are like, think something like, I don't know, like Ghost of Mars with all of its edgy, like, like hiding shit and with bad CG looks like good sci-fi, and it's just like, I would take a practical set that isn't, covered in dust or effects that looks awesome over, some fantastical over-designed Michael Bay like thing,
Well, I mean, that goes to, or speaks to one of my biggest criticisms of the Star Wars prequels, to relitigate that fucking thing for the millionth time. All of that looks so fresh and so new compared to the sci-fi I like, which is everything looks like a world that's been lived in.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, this just feels like it's it's Blade Runner without the rain. It's like, and so you're going to see the cracks and the flaws and everything, but it's all done really particularly well. I mean, like nothing, like I said, other than like, I think Lois looks kind of cheesy compared to the other industrial looks of everybody else.
It's cyberpunk without the punk
Yeah.
or the dystopia yet. It's like it's before it becomes dystopic and corporations take over.
And I like that all the robots are sort of like Fallout robots where they're like, hello, sir, what would you like me to cook for you today? And then they don't understand, like, when you're interacting with another human because they're still so stupid. They're sort of like Siri and Alexa and stuff. It's like, sorry if I'm making your things...
Yeah, there's one thing I really like when the computer is narrating about the robot that's gone wrong at the with the security guard. He like explains, "Oh, well, yeah, there's a chip in this to give it a vibrato in the voice that makes it sound more realistic."
Right.
You know, there's just like little touches like that are like that. You know, it's like that's not how it works, but it sounds like it's how it works.
Yeah, he's got the
and so
Sound Blaster 5000 Atmos pack, and so it sounds more realistic.
Yeah, he says it with conviction, and it doesn't really sound like technobabble. I know just enough to be dangerous, and it's not like...
Yeah, well, he mentions it having an 8088 chip, and he's like, "Oh, those are a little faulty sometimes." You know, like just little shit
it's not like
that.
the net. I mean, the net is rife with technobabble that
the
makes
net's the
no
king of
fucking
that.
sense.
Yeah. This one, like, yes, he's probably or Crichton probably made shit up, but it sounds right, and probably because Crichton's a writer and such a prolific one, he knows how to make it sound like it should.
Yeah, and I mean, it seems ironic us talking about that, like we love fucking hackers, which is like hackers doesn't understand any of that shit and just makes up a bunch of babble, and it was written by somebody who like hadn't touched a computer.
Except
like,
some of
wrote
it
the movie
encroaches
on
on really good stuff, and then they just are like they brought someone else in to like punch the script up with a bunch of bullshit. Hackers is so bizarre because it loops so close to like actual real shit, and then it's just like blah blah blah. Route it through Friendster.
Yeah, but that's the stuff, and don't get me wrong, I fucking love that stuff.
Yeah.
Like I love and Johnny Mnemonic, where they're just like, we don't understand tech, but I think it does this, and that sounds cool, right? Whereas this is like someone who actually understands tech, being like, I can make this sound right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one works, but weirdly not enough in a BMFcasty way for me. I was pretty close to it too, but I feel like it deserves a little bit more.
Yeah, it feels like enough of a real movie to give it a 3.
Right.
For me, at least.
Real movies get 3s around here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I give real movies 2s because I like fake movies because that's why I go to the movies. Otherwise, they're
Fair
documentaries.
Fine.
Yeah.
Oh. I do not enjoy cinema verite. I enjoy cinema vera don't.
You enjoy cinema vera dumb.
I like cinema very awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like somebody to go back and watch that scene about the chip in the voice chip, and let me know if you know what they think they're talking about and how close to actually correct it is.
Well, it's interesting. God, we keep relitigating it, but it's like, to me, it sounds like how you'd explain how an AI voice picks up and does things now.
Yeah.
That like it feels like you could transplant what he says to AI shit right now, and it would probably still sound correct to us. Mm-hmm. And there's something to be said for that, considering this movie's almost 40 years old.
Absolutely, yeah. And I've been like watching enough videos about old tech, like retro tech, on YouTube that it like my bullshit meter didn't go off.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also even if you rewind 5 years, I don't remember. Time doesn't have any meaning anymore. But remember when Siri's voice changed? I mean, it's always been the same lady that recorded it, or I think they did change it to a different lady at some point when they needed a bigger vocabulary, and the other lady was like, "I want more money." But I'm just saying, like, it wasn't only just that the actor or whatever, the main Siri lady changed. It was that they got something that better connected the words together. So I mean, it's like if you think back to like, if you had the old iPhone and hadn't done the update or whatever yet, and you went into some place and it's like Siri sounded different, you'd be like, oh, I mean, it just sounded like a very natural, like, oh, why does yours sound so much better? It's like, oh, I just got the new update, and it's got the better neural blendy plus processor plus, and you go, oh, okay, cool, I'll have to get that. Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's about it for this movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to tell us about your virtual neural network processing 8088 Yamaha LM2587 chips, email us bmf@bmfcast.com. That is where we like to receive your correspondence directly. If you would like to use said Yamaha chips and your voice or a fake voice to give us voice, you can call us on the Garfield phone, 9105-JOCKS-BMF or 910-556-9263. Leave us a message on the Garfield phone. It's what the cool kids do.
Do it.
And if you want to support what we do here each and every week with your monetary donation, which could be monthly, as little as $1 will get you incredible amounts of content on our Patreon at patreon.com/BMFcast. It is an incredible deal, and you should take advantage of it. I know that your tax refund is either coming in soon or has come in, so treat yourself to $1's worth of content.
Yeah. Also,
We have an announcement to make.
programming announcement.
Yes.
Somewhat.
Fuck y'all.
No.
Oh. Is that for next week?
Yes.
Okay.
However, that's at the $20 level. But also,
We are going to be posting on Mondays for the foreseeable future. I got a new job, and it takes me too much goddamn time to do my regular job, so I have to move editing to the weekends. So you're getting the podcast on Mondays.
so don't freak out on Fridays
Right.
when we're not there.
Yeah. Like you have for the last 2 Fridays.
We'll always be there, just not on Friday.
Right. It'll be on Monday.
Yep.
If for any reason we can make it back to the Friday schedule, we will let you know. But for the time being, expect it Monday.
Yeah. So don't fret.
Yeah. Little friends.
Yeah. You can listen to it Monday when your boss is babbling and you're like, I don't want to hear this.
Yeah.
Put
Instead
your
of
headphones on.
instead of ending your week with the BMFcast, why don't you start your week with the BMFcast?
Mm-hmm. It'll be just another podcast Monday.
There it is.
Whoa, oh whoa.
All right. Let's get out of here.
I don't normally say that. What are you doing?
I can get behind him saying that. I'm Harlow.
I'm Mackie.
I'm BJ, and this is BMFcast Out, and I'm confused.
Sorry.
Ow. My head.
Sorry.
My battery, it's almost dead.
Oh no.
I did not get to write a review before this.
Oh no. Do you not have isn't one of these a USB-C? Or are these USB micro?
I think they're micros.
Yeah, I think it's micro.
Hi, Chuck. How's it going, Chuck?
Did he log on now to say
Yeah,
hello?
he just showed up.
As I'm leaving,
You bunghole.
as my computer's dying.
Stop panicking, Kyle. We specifically asked you not to.
Don't panic. It's so important we put it on the cover of the podcast.
Right. Grab your towel.
Because it's about to rain in here.
Jesus.
Oh, sorry. I was confusing my references. So bring a towel. Because at Delta, it's laid out like
It's laid out like that. Shit, it don't matter.
I'm sorry. It's the two things whenever I hear bring a towel. This is-
We'll get you to your hoe and back lickety-split. No shit.
All right. Pick a character.
Fine.
Is that the programming change? What was there? Is there another programming change? I'm not in it.
that.
Oh, just that.
Yeah, just that. Yeah.
And
Okay.
also, you're off the show.
Okay, cool.
But we're going to keep coming here every Wednesday.
All right. I mean,
Yeah, you just can't.
I'll just be
commit.
like my cat out there, just going.
Okay, but you have to do it from the same distance as
Oh,
the
okay.
cat.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't just be right up here.
And when we go, shut the fuck up, cat,
I have
you
to
have
go,
to actually.
Yep. Right. You have to
There it is.
final meow and then shut up for an hour.
It's a questioning meow, like, meow. Like, what did I do? I'm a cat, motherfucker.
Congrats, Kyle. You did the best.
Thanks, Kyle, for being the best.
Thank you for being a friend.
I wouldn't go that far.
Oh. What is it? Going down the old road back again? How's the song go? Give me some Golden Girls. Come
Travel
on.
down the road and back.
Travel down the road and back again. Thank you.
Your heart is true. You're
I know
a
it's
pal
not-
and a
I-
confidant.
I also know it's not the Golden Girls song. I know it was a song before the Golden Girls. So don't at me.
If you threw a party.
You need a hand there, bud?
Don't at me.
You
I
want me to
know.
hold
I
you?
know this. I don't remember who it's by, but it was a one of those easy
Oh,
listening
shit.
guys.
I had a
but-
plug.
You fucking idiot.
I am a fucking idiot.
Okay.
Fucking idiot.
Weird Mac thing. Maybe it's not that weird. It's probably not that weird.
It's my wrestling name.
Maybe it's not that weird.
No, I
or
said
Weird
that's
Mac
my
thing.
wresling name.
Weird Mac thing.
Weird Mac.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Weird Mac thing.
Well, that too. Yeah.
So I don't know if it was an update or something, or if I just hadn't noticed it before. But my work Mac, it will start the day at 100%.
That's who I'm fighting against.
Stays work Mac, yeah. Stays plugged in the whole day, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the battery will drain down to 80, and it's like, we're keeping it at 80%.
Yes.
I'm like, why don't you just run off the fucking charger then? Run the entire show off of the charger.
That's what it does when it's at 80%.
Yeah, but it starts off at higher than that.
Really? Oh,
I think it's battery conditioning.
You think it's just like
Yeah, if you don't top out a battery to its max, it has a longer lifespan.
right, but like, why doesn't it just leave the battery at 80%?
Oh, I don't know.
I never tell it like it will give me the option to charge it to 100%, but I don't select that.
But it tries to learn when you're going to end your day and get the last 20%, right? Because that's what the iPhone does. It's like it.
Oh, I don't know.
When you
I
charge it
haven't noticed
overnight, like it only charges up to 80%, and then it knows, okay, this
But
person
why would
usually
you
wakes
even-
up at 8 o'clock and it starts getting to the last 20% of that.
Why wouldn't you just leave it at 80% and not charge it anymore?
Like, I don't know.
Maybe it's because when I shut it down, it charges dumbly.
Because then people would bitch that
We can't get
it
100%.
doesn't last
Yeah.
as long.
Yeah.
They're,
It gives you
they're
the
crippling
option.
it on purpose.
It does give you the
Yeah.
option. Well, they did that for real, but it does give you the option of charging it up to full, which I like.
Yeah, I don't. I haven't. I'm speaking out my ass because I haven't messed with the Mac since they've done this. I'm just saying what they do for the iPhone. It's supposed to know when you typically would have taken it off the charger and do that last 10, 20% or whatever, like in the last hour or so.
Gotcha.
Which doesn't always work if you wake up earlier, later, or whatever. It's like, but whatever. I mean, I get it because, like, I mean, I also don't have a problem. I haven't like come close to running out my phone battery in years.
Yeah, I don't mind
Years.
that. It's
Oh, I kill mine all.
Oh, I never do.
it's not a big deal to me. Like
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it because I'm not going anywhere with it. But it just
Better not.
well, I mean, I may at some point, decide to one day when I don't have 47 meetings, might decide to go work from the coffee shop. But
Yeah, I feel like the lowest I've gotten on my phone is like probably 5 years is like 27%. Like, I mean, like seriously, like,
I ran mine all the way dead the other day.
Mm.
I was zoned into Reddit or something and didn't even notice my battery percentage. It just shut off, and I was like, "What?"
I know what will kill your phone battery. Well, it used to. I don't know if it does anymore. Is being somewhere where you don't have a cell phone signal and
Yeah, like my
not
work.
not turning on airplane mode.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because and it's just constantly searching, and that will kill your battery fast.
Yeah.
That's what
Unless
happened
you
to me.
connect to Wi-Fi, then it's
That's what happened to me at Dragon Con. Like, I had my phone in my pocket, not thinking about it, and just went around all day. And was like, "Fuck, where's my car? I don't know. I pinned it. I don't know where my car is."
That's right. I remember that
Nobody
you were-
had a fucking iPhone charger.
Yeah.
Those goddamn assholes, fucking heathens. That was the craziest goddamn thing. I talked to more random people that night. I'm like, how could none of the fucking lost and founds in these like 400 room hotels have a goddamn iPhone charger? That's insane.
What iPhone did you have?
I think it was back in the 30 pin days. I don't think it was the Lightning days. So I mean, they were still
So that was like a 3 or 4.
they were still slightly rarish, but I mean, like iPods were pretty fucking prevalent. I cannot believe someone didn't leave an iPhone or an iPod behind.
Did you look in the boxes? Were you able to look in the boxes, or did they just look
I
and
think
say
they
no?
just looked and said no.
Oh, they
Yeah.
probably didn't realize that it was that same connector. That
I told him. I said it's the same charger as an iPod or an iPhone. I just need it for 2 seconds, power up my phone, figure out what my car is, and you can have it right back.
bastards.
But
now,
I just
now
did
any
a lot of
hotel you
walking
go
and went,
into,
"Beep, beep." There it is. Thank God.
now any hotel you walk into, you can just go up and say, "Oh, hey man, I
Yeah.
lost my charger. It's like it's a white iPhone charger. It's about
What any of these work?
please fucking take one
Yes.
of those things." So go get yourself a free iPhone charger from a hotel.
Yeah, I mean, not just hotels, like random people in cars. I was like, my whole thought was like, okay, if they didn't take them with them, people have iPods in their cars. Somebody's got to have one in their car. Like, I mean, just standing in a parking garage. I'm not trying to be a weirdo. Do you have an iPod in your car? My phone's dead. Don't want money. I don't want anything. Just power. Let's get out of here, shall we? All right.
I saw that, Kyle. I know you deleted it, but I
Was-
saw you say for me to fuck off.
Did you?
And
Wow, that was nice.
We
Yeah.
don't have to delete that.
and I agree.
It's on public record.
Have iPhones gone to USB-C yet?
I don't think the phones have yet, but I don't know.
I know my
I think the iPads have, yeah.
has.
I don't know, but because I'm still on the 12, so I'm a
Yeah.
bit behind. For the first time ever, I'm like, this phone's fine. I don't give a shit. What can you do? Like, it's like,
Yeah.
like, you finally hit the point. I'm like, great. It has a backup satellite feature, so if I find myself in the fucking Andes, that'll be handy.
Yeah.
Wait, it's got backup satellite?
Yeah, it's expensive as fuck to use, but like if you're like stranded, you can use the whatever. What's that?
Iridium.
What's the Elon Musk shit you keep sending up?
Oh,
Starlink. Yeah.
Oh,
I think it
it's
uses
got-
those.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. You can like send an emergency text message or make a call, but
That's pretty cool.
yeah. I mean, it's neat, but like I'm like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
that's
not
on an
those
every
places.
3-year plan at this point.
I mean, that's a great emergency
yeah,
feature.
it is.
Like that's
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, it might be as expensive as fuck, but if
Yeah, I
that's
mean, if
my
you're dying,
only
yes.
fucking
Yes.
choice,
More
yeah.
expensive.
Yes, dying is very expensive.
Yeah,
If there is a cocaine bear around, you need to escape. It's worth using Starlink.
yeah, I got this at the beginning of last year, so I'll probably get a new one at the beginning of next year. Every 2 years.
It's cool
Feels-
because it's actually got
it's fine
like
for me.
instructions built into the phone of like how you, because you have to like almost get like a line of sight. They're very fickle about how they work, but it
Yeah.
teaches you exactly how to do it, and it's baked onto the phone, so you don't have to have a signal to do it, of like how to
Nice.
make connection.
Nice.
I only
I'm
saw it via the keynote or whatever.
I'm still fucking amazed that this thing does the now listening without any internet connection.
Yeah.
I just cannot fucking believe that. Like, and I finally figured out more about how it works, and it's basically the 10,000 most popular songs on
the Billboard chart.
Google Play Music and YouTube Music. It's like a combined 10,000 most popular songs.
Yeah.
Every week it updates.
They've probably figured out some way to shrink that down to
And
an
they've-
itty bitty signature. That,
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's some sort of little signature that they've
Mm-hmm.
that's the fucking mystical magic, is whoever has come up with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tech's cool. I just hope it doesn't kill us.
It will. Don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely working on that.
I believe the
Elon-
robots are our future.
I mean, people
Correct.
are talking about AI is scaring me, and Elon Musk is like, let's put it in our brains. And I'm like, let's slow the fuck down.
I'm not really afraid of AI. I'm more afraid of like people using legislation to outlaw who I am.
Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty shitty.
And who my friends are,
I don't like it.
which is like normal human beings. Anyway,
That's my political philosophy is people just want to be left alone as long as they're not fucking with anybody else.
yeah.
Let
Yeah.
them be.
And the
who they
definition
wanna
of
be.
how you're fucking with somebody needs to be a little, like, you
Yeah.
know, people need to grow the fuck up and realize, like, you know, not somebody existing doesn't fucking with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm saying, like, yeah.
I mean, yeah, just because you're uncomfortable.
Right.
Doesn't mean shit. But anyway,
Let's get out of here, shall we?
Okay.
I'm Harbco.
let's give them all the guillotine.
That's
All
right.
those assholes.
Eat the rich.
Yeah.
You're good, Kyle.
Viva-
I
Viva
knew
la
what you were
France.
responding to. Yes. Bastille Day. Good song, by the way.
Oui.
It's a Rush song. It's very good.
Oh yeah, where are you on your Rush journey?
Same as I was last
Oh
week.
no.
Yeah.
What Rush Curdy?
I was listening through the Rush albums. I made it to their third album.
So
next is 2112.
okay,
so.
so you're not rushing it.
Taking time.
Yeah.
I get it.
Taking my
You're
time.
rushing it.
So you're like tomorrow's Tom Sawyer. I'll get to it eventually.
That's it.
Save all this for the
Yeah.
very end of the live stream. It's probably
Yeah.
not even on anymore.
No, I haven't hit stop yet. It's going now.
It's like none of these.
Bonus jokes.
Yeah, none of my time lately at work has been. I can actually listen to music time. It's been
Right now,
Actual
right
work
right now, he's been in the scurvy light.
yes. Yep.
Sorry, that was that too far?
No, I
Okay,
got it.
all
I
right.
got that one.
I did
I got
not,
that one.
but whatever.
It's another
Limes
Rush-
are a cure for scurvy, and so The opposite of limelight would be scurvy light.
I like
That's why British people are called limeys, because they ate a lot of limes on their boats.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Anywho,
Let's go. Mackie's holding his bag and twitching, so he needs to go.